Welcome back. It's preview Saturday afternoon's Premier League match between Aston Villa and West Ham United at Villa Park. Pascal, start with the home side. Very good win over Everton last time out.
Yeah, very impressive. Obviously, the Sherwood sort of change that he's made has been, very evident, and no more so than Christian Benteke's return to form. 2 more goals from him against Everton, and I think the first one was especially good. A brilliant header from him. Delph, great cross, fair play, but the way Benteke sort of moved between the 2 defenders and powered the header in, just unstoppable from him, and then cleverly with the 3rd goal as well. That was another nice goal from them. You can see sort of his young legs against Gareth Barry's old legs. Barry tried to get back, but he just couldn't catch up with Cleverley, and Bakuna just split the defence with a great pass and then cleverly slammed it home over Howard. That was a great goal from them. Bit nervy at the end when Jagielka scored the sort of late goal to get Everton within 1, but they held out pretty well. Sort of, you could argue that maybe it was a foul from Coleman on Shea Given when he was challenging for the ball, but I think it was a pretty fair challenge, and in the end it didn't really matter too much. 3 points the most important thing. You wonder about goal difference. Could it come down to it? Because you look at the table, it's so close. There's 5 teams, Sunderland in 18th, Villa in 14th. The 5 teams there separated by just 2 points. So it looks like there could be some teams finishing on the same amount of points. The goal difference could come down to it, but you can't really think about that at the moment. And the way the table's looking, Villa playing good football, scoring goals, and they're sitting top of those sort of 5 relegation candidates. You think Burnley and Leicester, they're probably gone now, but out of the other 5 teams who are going to finish in that 18th spot at the moment, Villa look best placed to avoid it because they're playing good football at the moment.
They are playing good football and scoring goals as well, which wasn't the case under Lambert. Was it winning that 8 game? I think it was, without finding the back of the net. I think Aston Villa are always going to concede goals. You've seen that recently. They've conceded a few goals, but they can find goals down the other end. Benteke's obviously been in great form, and the run they've had, incredible. One at Spurs, then obviously they lost at City narrowly the last minute, and thought they'd got a point. Came back in that game incredibly. Then Fernandinho goes down the other end, which was a devastating blow. One at Everton, and amongst that as well was the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, which not too many people pick them to win it. Obviously they've got that to come against Arsenal now, and I think the change around of the Sherwood has been incredible. Under Lambert they just look shot of all type of confidence. And you look about the run forms they've had and the fact that they are in 14th, don't get me wrong, they've still got a lot of work to do, but the games we've had, talk about City, Spurs, Everton, really tough games. Obviously this is back at home, so they fancy their chances, but great run, and Sherwood's done a really good job.
Certainly has, and he's got a potentially big boost this weekend that Agbonlahor can be back. Agbonlahor, his last game was the win at Spurs. He's missed the last 3 if you include the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, and if he comes back, he offers something different, doesn't he? He's a very, very quick player, and you think that his pace will sort of worry defences, and that just might take a bit of focus away from Benteke. If the defenders are worrying about where Agbonlahor might be running, Benteke, if he gets that space, you've seen what he can do. Like I said, that goal against Everton, the first one, if he just has that little bit of space to get up, before the rest of the defence, he's brilliant in the air. So if Agbonlahor's back, that could be a huge boost for them. And you're starting to look at the run-ins of the teams, going into the final 3 games of the season now, and you have to say Villas is pretty good. They play West Ham here, a mid-table side. There's not too much for West Ham to play for, and they haven't been great of late either, West Ham. So they're at home. There are other home games against Burnley on the final day of the season, and by then you expect Burnley to be relegated by then, so Burnley won't have much to play for if they're confirmed as down. The other one's Southampton away, which is a tough one, but those 3 games, you'd say that the 2 home ones are very winnable. Southampton away is a tough one, but Southampton might not have too much to play for either, because it looks like they're out of the top 4 race a little bit. So you have to say they've got a really good run in, and then if they can secure their safety, they've then got the FA Cup final at the end of the season as well. So I think it could be quite a good month for Aston Villa, unless they suddenly have a real downturn in form. I think they look pretty safe, and then they can just look forward to the cup final and try and win a trophy.
Definitely. Moving on to the away side, obviously last time out, good win over Burnley. 3 points is always important, but it wasn't a great game, was it? Obviously major talking point was the penalty incident, Duff getting himself sent off, and tackle on Valencia, I think it was, wasn't it? And how the ref's given a red card there is poor, isn't it, from him? It's probably they're hoping it's going to get rescinded, but it was given. That was the decision. Mark Noble stands up and he's good from the penalty spot, puts it away. The rest of the game was, it was epitomised what West Ham have been about recently. They just haven't, not really doing anything either. Their form's been poor. At the back, they've conceded a lot of goals, managed to keep a clean sheet in that one, obviously, but back at home, the supporters, I still don't think it's great at the moment, though, is it, for West Ham to talk about where they were, and obviously to beat Burnley. But to be fair, Burnley obviously bottom of the table. They're probably the poorest side in the league at the minute. A lot of energy, but not too much quality. And good win, but I think home supporters are expecting a little bit more, sitting in 9th at the minute. And Stoke obviously in around there. Swansea look like they're going to finish 8th. They've had a really good run, but their finish in the bottom half might be quite poor.
Yeah, you mentioned about Burnley. You know, that was their 6th game without scoring. Burnley. So if West Ham to keep a clean sheet in that, you know, it's decent, but you know, it's not that great considering Burnley have been in a really poor run of form. They're all but relegated, like we've said. So that wasn't great from West Ham, and they go to Villa here, who we've said, you know, have been good at home recently. And you know, West Ham's away form has been very poor. They haven't won any of their last 10 games in the Premier League if you go back to early December. So, you know, considering where they were, you know, the first half of the season, you know, in December they were, you know, the top 4, well, not top 4 challengers necessarily, but they weren't far off at all. And since then, not many wins, and away from home especially very poor. So, you know, you wonder if there's going to, like I said, not much to play for here, and you think Villa, they must be so much more fired up than West Ham for this game. And you know, West Ham struggling. You know, they are missing some key players like Sacco, Carroll up front. So, you know, sort of Valencia's had to take it on up front, and he sort of had his moments. But Sacco and Carroll were the two that looked most at home, you know, playing up front for them. So they've been big misses, and you wonder if West Ham can really challenge Villa too much. As bad as that sounds, even though they are above them in the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Boxing Day they were sitting 4th, West Ham, which is incredible after a good win, and you know, it's been all downhill since then. Obviously, this is another tough game. Can you see them getting anything out of it?
I can't. I think you've got to pick Villa here, to be honest. The form they're in, you know, good win over Everton last time, who are in much better form than West Ham. So I think, you know, Villa, you have to pick them here, and I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win.
2-1. I'm actually going to agree. Obviously, home win. I don't think West Ham will score. They look like they're on the holidays a little bit, don't they? It's a thing that's sometimes thrown about teams this stage of the season. Obviously, not going to go down, not going to finish in the top 7 Europe, possibly anyway. So, we both see Aston Villa picking up all 3 points here. Thanks for joining us.